And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Sorcerer City. Now this is a game I did not actually know much about from Druid City Games. It's a fairly big box, it's like Ticket to Ride, but this is the large size box, bigger than that one. It is, when I opened it up, I was amazed at how much material in a long rule book. I expected the game to be a fairly complex, involved game. It's not. It's a tile laying game that has a speed element to it in which you're placing tiles down to get resources of 4 different types, using those 4 types, manipulating them to get victory points to win the game. Here's how it plays. In this game, players are going to have a starting deck of tiles that are pretty much all the same, although you can play a variant where there's special tiles that each person might only have one of. And over the course of the game, you'll be able to buy more tiles. They have a cost for buying them and add them to your deck. And it's also possible to get, and you probably will likely get, monster tiles, which are somewhat of a negative thing. And so you're going to be shuffling your deck each round of the game. And before I show you the overview of the game, I want to show you kind of what you're doing with this. You're going to have a timer here that's going to be timing players, and they're going to be, you'll place a tile face down on the board, and then you'll draw tiles one at a time, and you can place them kind of any way you want. Now here you notice I matched the green with the green, but I don't have to match the colors together. So I think I might put that one there, and here I'm making the green go like that. And well, so much for that green. I'm going to put a blue one there. I don't want to put that blue there. And so again, you're kind of doing all this simultaneously with everybody else as you build these tiles out in different patterns. So I'll put that yellow, that one there. Put that one there. I don't like that one there. I'll do this. And this is a green one. So I'll put this one here, and I'll put this one here. No, but once you do put a tile down and go to the next tile, then you are kind of finished. You can see I'm not doing too well here, or maybe I am. You don't know. I don't like that one there. I'll do that one over here. Put that one there. And then I'm going to put this one up here. Okay, so I'm finished now. And if you're finished before the timer runs out, great. Otherwise, when the timer runs out, you got to put down the tile you're playing, and then everyone's going to score. Now you're scoring on 4 different tracks here. You're going to keep track each person. Each round, you're going to be collecting, we got money, the yellow track. We have prestige, the green track. Then we have influence, the red track. And just raw magic, the blue track. And you're going to be scoring through the different towers that are on the board. There are 3 different towers, and each one scores differently. So this kind of tower here will score me for tiles I have of that color in a straight line. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 yellow. This is wild. And you have to have at least 3. So that would score me 4 yellow on the scoring track. This one here is better. It does everything that's connected. Every tile that's connected in a group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's one big giant group. So I would get another 8 that I would collect. Then this tower here, this green one, gives me 1 for everyone that's in a group. 1, 2, 3. So I'd get 3 green from that. Blue in a straight line. 1, 2, 3 blue. Oh no, this one counts too. So 4 blue. Red in a group. 1, 2, 3 red. And then this tower here is going to score me 1 for each tower, plus each tower that's adjacent to it. And again, you have to have at least 3. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would score me 5 for red. This one here, 1, 2, 3, 4, would score me 4 for green. And then this one here needs to have a red group of 3. There's one at the very, very top. And it's not in a group, so that one would score me nothing. There are other tiles that will pop up that will give you benefits, like this one lets me buy tiles for 1 less. But in each round, players are going to be building a city like this and then scoring the different raw magic, influence, money, and prestige. So now that you understand how you build a city, because this is the core of the game, here's how the game works. The goal of the game is to get the most prestige of different denominations here, and players are going to be doing that by, like I said, building their cities. Each round of the game, and there's 5 rounds of the game, does the same way. You shuffle your tiles, and you're going to build a city just like I showed you. After that's over, players are going to score. So remember, you have these 4 scoring tracks. You'll take the amount that you have on these 4 scoring tracks. Then the very first one here, the magic, is actually going to be transformed into one of the other colors. Each player is going to look around, see what numbers everyone has, and then you're going to pick secretly one of these cards and change all your blue into prestige, money, or power. And so you'll pick one, reveal them, and everyone will do that, reducing the one, increasing the other. Then we look at the influence, the red one, changing your magic into that, because that matters a lot. Whoever's first in influence is going to get prestige equal to whatever the year is. So you can see that in year 1 you get 6 prestige, while in year 5 you will get 25 prestige. So having the most here can get you a lot. The first place also will get the card. So here, this one says you get 2 tiles for free, each costing up to 7 coins each. Or here, +1 buy, you get to buy an extra tile, and tiles cost you 2 less than their price. Or kill a monster in another player's district to get 10 prestige points or 10 money. So you have these things that you can do. First place gets both. Second place picks one of them. Third place gets the other one that's not been used. And then everyone else just gets an extra 5 coins or an extra buy. Then buying. In turn order, starting from whoever has most prestige, players will buy from these tiles. There are 4 different vendors. The tiles have little numbers on the back to show which ones go in which pile, and they have like different ranges of prices. Not to mention you can always buy rainbows that are just wild tiles. You'll buy these to get more scoring opportunities, more of these shields, and also just to get nice different connections and more of different colors, along with special abilities. Like this one here, if you play this, you're going to get the influence reward, period, whether you are first or second in influence or not. So players will take turn buying, and you can only buy 1 tile unless you've reached at least 20 money here. It shows you that you get an extra buy there, or for some reason you get another buy. Then, after players do that, you're simply going to convert your green prestige into straight prestige points. Green is just straight points. So yellow's used to buy things, green gives you straight points, red gives you the rewards and or points, and blue can be changed into the other 2. Then the monster will take effect, and at the beginning of the game, you'll draw from a pile of monster cards here, putting 2 in the first 2 rounds and 2 in the second 2 rounds. Each monster will have a different special ability. You will grab all the monsters of that type. So let's say it's time to put the demons in. I'd grab all the demon tiles, I'd shuffle them up. Each person gets 1 randomly added to your deck. Different color combinations, but they all do the same thing. So like, for example, it says when you draw the demon tile, you need to get rid of 2 tiles from your district with red on them. Then you put the demon tile in your district. Then your district might be disconnected at that point, which normally you can't do because you normally have to play things next to each other. And if you draw the demon first, though, you're lucky and you can discard monster tiles with red on them. So there's some special rules here, and then the book goes into even more detail on it. But each of these monsters is usually bad, but they might be good. So like when a dragon tile comes up, he permanently destroys a city tile that's adjacent to it. And you can even use him to kill other monsters. That's an interesting thing. And there's even tiles that let you kill monsters and get them out of your deck. So after everyone has a monster thrown into their deck, then you start the next round and you go on. The difference in the last round, there's no extra prestige award. This card's always here. These cards are normally randomized and different things show up, and it's worth 25 points. And then at the end of the game, you're going to be adding together all the prestige that you've gotten throughout the game. Whoever has the most prestige is going to be the winner. There's a few other rules. If you're playing with 2 players, you kind of have a dummy third player who's going to be doing various things. Like I said, there's an extra set of tiles that you can give to people to kind of make your hand slightly different at the beginning. But there you go. For certain, this game is a huge table hog. What you're not seeing here is this is all the stuff here that's on the table, but then each person is going to be building a city, and as you get more and more tiles in your hand, you're going to be building bigger and bigger cities. And since the game by its very nature, as you're building the different cities that you have, it encourages you to build things in straight lines. That's one way you get points. Your cities are often going to move into other people's territories across table just because you tend to build longer cities rather than wider ones. The components are fine for the most part. I'm not thrilled with the actual city building pieces. When I first saw them, I thought they looked a little ugly. When you look really close at the tiles themselves, you can see the stuff in the background and it looks a little better. But at the end of the day, you're just hooking up blue to green to red to yellow. Compare this to Carcassonne, which just, even though it's more simplistic on how the tiles fit together, it just has a prettier look to it, at least a more connected look. And even though the buildings in the background are slightly different between the different colors, I still think if you're red-green, it's going to be a little easy to confuse those. These tiles are nice. The boards with the black discs, I don't like these as much. I'd rather these boards have been indented a little bit because these are really easy to knock off. To the point where we put a house rule in place that you can't dismantle your city until everything's over, just in case something got knocked, because you might need to add up your score again. The rule book itself has, it's a really big rule book. It's a big square one. I still don't know why companies feel the need to make these square rule books, because they're just, they're so big to open. It does have page after page where it explains every rule and every monster in great detail. That's nice. And again, my only complaint is I wish it had, been a normal sized book. The cards are all linen finish, very nice cards. The biggest complaint I might have here about the components is that there is a lot of text on each of these monster cards, and you have to memorize that. Why? Because when you're building a town, you have a timer. So you don't have time to quick stop it and look up and see what the monster does as you look at each of them. And they're pretty easy, but at the same time, it's going to be a little bit different how it works. And invariably, there's questions to the point where we had to put the timer down, pause everything, in case somebody had a question. All that being said, there's a lot of components. It's a ton to fit back in a box. It's a ton to set up, and it takes a while to sort out. It's very nice and it's cool, but just realize that going in, a lot of space, both in the box and on the table. I've been playing Sorcerer City a lot. I really enjoy it. I like the idea of building it. The one thing I think a lot of people are going to be afraid of is this. I believe it's a 2-minute timer. The fact of the matter is, for the first 2 rounds, you're going to get your cities built, unless you're really slowly thinking about them. After that, you might end up with no tiles, but I almost always got my tiles played. In the latter rounds, I had to play a little bit faster, but I didn't feel like it was an oppressive thing like some people would do. And in fact, it wasn't even a thing of, oh, I'm the first one done. No, just try to get them done within that time. And even if you don't get all your tiles out, get a lot of points in the different types. So I was very pleased about that. I also enjoy the whole aspect of buying good tiles, more tiles. Do I want a lot more tiles that are smaller and just give me more areas with victory conditions that are easier to do, or do I want those bigger ones? There are even tiles in here. Let me see if I can find one now real quick. That have multiple scoring things on the same tile. I like that. Or the special abilities. This one, every time you play it, you get another rainbow tile. This one here, you can spend 3 of your magic to go up 3 in all the other categories. And that's fun. It's fun to customize your deck. It's almost like a deck builder. It's a tile builder. And then the bad things, throw stuff in there to mix it up too, and I enjoy that. Now, it's not a perfect game. Like I said, storage is a bit of a pain. It's getting everything set up and all. I found that to be somewhat problematic. I do like playing with that extra tile, though, so that's a lot of fun to draft those tiles at the beginning and be slightly asymmetrical. The other concerns that I have is, like I said, trying to remember what the monsters do. You got to really make that go home. And even though there's certainly arguments on this on the internet that people, whether the game's balanced or not, it definitely feels that if you really push on blue, you'll do fairly well, because blue could be changed to red, yellow, or green. And so pushing on blue gives you a pretty good, strong swing at the end, especially when you can look, see what other people are doing, say, oh, I can't win influence, I'll change it to money, or I can win influence, so I'll do so. I don't think it's a game-breaking thing by any means, but it definitely felt that way slightly. I've tried many different strategies in the games where I tried just go blue. I did fairly well. But I don't think that's that big of a deal at the end of the day. Just placing all these tiles out is a lot of fun. The last negative, and I feel like I've said several negatives here, but I think the game overall is very good. The last negative is, again, mentioning table space, the fact this game goes to 6 players. That's insane. 4 players for this takes up a huge amount of table space. I have never played with more than 4 because I simply cannot fathom getting, you're building a city in front of you. They're building a city. You're building a city. I definitely had times where I had to like slide my city because I was building into my opponent's area. To then add another player to the mix with the fact that you have these stores and everything in the middle, I just don't know how that's possible. But, I mean, I guess it's there. It just felt like the game would have been a little bit smaller had it been 4-player only. I mean, it's not that I think it adds to the length of the game because everyone's playing simultaneously. There's a few who taking turn buying, but that's not a big deal. And then I should mention on the good side that the game does end reasonably. 5 turns isn't too long. 5 turns times 2 minutes is 10 minutes. But then there's stuff in between that. There's an hour, maybe 90 minutes at most game. So again, this game feels unique. There's a lot of interesting things. Yes, it's using laying of tiles down like Carcassonne. It's using deck building like Dominion and keeping points and scoring points in various ways. But I think it does so in a nice, compact way. One I find enjoyable and worth pulling out and feeling different than other games in these past few years. That's Sorcerer City. I'm Tom Vasel. We'll see you next time. Dice Tower Judgment approved.